Hello everyone, I'm Josh and I will be refuting Isaac's rebuttal to the legalization of marijuana. So he brought up that there's not going to be the same turnout in Colorado. But I say, where's the data for that? We have data. The data is actually based on Colorado and Washington's models. And although it may not apply to most other states, that is hard data. And what he's basing his ideals off of is completely theoretical. So that is anecdotal at best. It's going to increase the demand or decrease the demand. I'm not really sure where he's going with that, but the demand has been high through U.S. history, and it's been used for years and years and years. It's actually the #1 cash crop in California. So it'd be ridiculous for us not to legalize it and not tax it. Going on to racism, he claimed that it does not stop profiling, but it does give less reason. And actually that's going to reduce the sentencing because of its Schedule 1 drug status or substance status. The sentencing would be much less for if they were profiling for not wearing a seatbelt, let's say. So that would reduce prison time, 1, and 2, incarceration costs. As for the revenue in Colorado, they have a surplus after they've legalized marijuana, an incredible surplus that they've actually spilled over to pay for education and homeless programs. So I'm not sure where this, where Colorado has not seen a lot of revenue, because they have, and I'll get to that in a second. And then going on to his argument about tobacco and alcohol, his claim is that tobacco and marijuana are basically on the same level of being cancer-causing and giving you bad health effects, essentially. So that's just assuming that you smoke the marijuana by burning it. I don't know if you guys know the process of burning versus vaporizing it. But burning actually changes the entire chemical composition when you apply the flame to it. And that's what actually converts these different chemicals into these cancer-causing chemicals that can actually affect your lung health. So you can combat that by, 1, eating edibles. Edibles takes away all the cancer-causing bad effects for your lungs, and it basically just leaves the THC and the CBD, which is the stuff that's been known to have medical benefits. Along with vaporizing it as well. And then alcohol impairs mental processes, and he was claiming that marijuana also reduces mental processes, but as does most other drugs, and I'm going to get to that in 1 second. So let's go to the revenue. So based off of, so a federal tax of $23 per pound on a product, similar to the federal tax on tobacco, could generate $500 million per year on state level. Alternatively, a 10% sales surtax could generate $5.3 billion per year, with higher tax rates collecting proportionately more on federal level. So state taxes on marijuana, similar to Washington and Colorado, would increase state tax revenues by $13 billion nationally, with an additional $5 billion from normal sales taxes. And that's based off of the Colorado and Washington models. And that's not even taking into account the new legalization of California, which we have yet to see how that's going to affect our economy, but it's projected that it's going to affect it very positively. So let's go into marijuana is safer than alcohol and tobacco. So excess drinking and tobacco are the 2 of the most leading causes of preventable deaths in the United States. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, cigarette smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths in the United States annually, including an estimated of nearly 42,000 deaths resulting from exposure to secondhand smoke. Alcohol drinking, on the other hand, was responsible for approximately 88,000 deaths each year in the United States from 2006 to 2010. The CDC doesn't even have a record of the marijuana deaths because there is none. Alcohol is one of the most toxic drugs, using 10 times what it would use to get the desired effect of becoming drunk or intoxicated. could lead to death. So just 10 times the amount of drinking could lead to death, basically. Marijuana is one of, if not the least toxic drugs, requiring thousands of times the dose one would need for the desired effect of feeling high. And actually, the thousands of times is completely theoretical because there has been no individual case that shows death related to exclusively to marijuana overdose. So let's go to the decriminalization that we were talking about previously to this. So decriminalization of marijuana is going to reduce incarceration costs and reduce prison populations. And that is going to directly affect the minority populations, especially of black communities who are affected most by imprisonment. So under the current rules regarding parole and prohibition, a positive urine test for marijuana can send a parolee or a probationer, to prison, regardless of the original offense. So these rules would change under legalization. And this is according to Jeffrey A. Miron, that my colleague previously referred to. So the savings in the state and local government expenditure that would result from marijuana legalization consists of three main components. The reduction in police resources for elimination of marijuana arrests, the reduction of prosecutorial and judicial resources from elimination of marijuana prosecutions, and the reduction in correctional resources from elimination of marijuana incarcerations. So prohibition entails direct enforcement costs, and prohibition prevents taxation of marijuana products and sale. If marijuana were legal, enforcement costs would be negligible, and governments would levy taxes on the production and sale of marijuana, thus government expenditure would decline and tax revenues would increase. Under prohibition, some marijuana offenders pay fines, which partially offset the expenditure required to arrest, convict, and incarcerate these offenders. However, calculations show that offsetting revenue has been at most $100 million per year in recent years at the state level, versus the net savings of criminal justice resources for marijuana legalization of about $5 billion annually. So we're comparing apples and oranges here because it's so much higher tax revenue if we were to legalize it. Thank you.